Hey everyone, my name is Felix Enyen. I'm the design lead for Team Gold HNG Internship 7, and I'll be doing a very quick tutorial on UI design fundamentals. So these are the basic foundations that as a designer you need to know if you are going to get started in UI designs. These are the foundations, although they are pretty much a lot of design rules and all that when it comes to design. But for UI design, these are the fundamentals. Once you score these fundamentals, then you're on your way to being a very good designer. So without wasting time, this is how the scope of this tutorial will be. We Okay, so I have this site here. This is a site for Groot.co. As you can see it here, Groot.co. So yeah, Groot is the strongest Avenger, so that's why we are dedicating a design to Groot. So basically, this site looks bad. So we will be applying our design fundamentals on this site to improve the look. So that's what we are going to be doing today. And I don't know, you might think that, okay, I just exaggerated this design just to prove a point and all that of the UI design. But trust me, there are actually sites that look better. Do I just say better? There are sites that look worse than this. That's one thing you have to know. So there are sites that actually look worse than this. Okay, let me just show you an example. I know a lot of designers should know these sites. Okay, yes, www.agrian.net. So funny enough, when I had to Google this, my keyword was um, good example of a bad website. So yes, here we have it. This is a very good example of a very bad website. As you can see, everything is just mumbo. Wow, they even sell tanks. Wow, probably we can patronize them. I saw a helicopter up here. You can imagine. I don't know if this part of the logo are actually a product. Like they sell almost everything electronic, and you can see there's almost nothing works here. This is very good example of a bad website. So even that one I haven't designed is even much more better than this. And I have another one here that I saw. Yeah, this although this looks much more better, but there's still a lot of design issues when it comes here. So there are actually sites that look like this. In this 21st century, I'm surprised. And even when I see designs of people, I tend to see sites, the design stores most times that do not adhere to this UI design fundamentals. So I think it's necessary to teach the UI design fundamentals. So without wasting much time, let's head into Figma. So like I said, we're improving this site using our design fundamentals. And the first fundamental we'll be looking at is white space, that is otherwise known as negative space. So this simply refers to the space surrounding your design elements. So if we head over to our design, so we have this I am Groot. So as you can see, this image is too close to this text, so there's lack of white space here, and there's too much white space here. And the thing about white space is this: too little of white space is bad, and too much of white space is bad. So you have to create a balance. I know sometimes there are times you design and you might have a lot of white space. So sometimes we just tend to fill it in with some aesthetics on the background and all that just to kind of fill up that space. So too little is bad, too much is bad. So and white space also does not just apply to stuff like, okay, maybe the picture and the um, text and the button. Even your text most times tends to you can improve the white spacing of your text and all that. So if we should start with this, basically if I want to improve the white space of this, I can easily use my shift arrow. I'm in Figma, so I'll be given some Figma shortcuts. So I can use my shift and my right arrow. This is my right arrow, and I can move this a little to the right. I can pick my button and I can move this a little bit downwards to give more space. I can pick this little add copy and I take it down a bit from the heading, which is I am Groot. So I can still take this down a bit and take this down a bit. So yeah, I think things are beginning to look pretty good. So these are just basic white space issues that I can fix over here. And also, if we come over here, as we can see, well, the amount of white space in between these elements are actually not equal. So it's something we also have to fix. We have a 60 pixel space over here, 60 pixels, 54 pixel space over here, and 82 pixel space over here. So we have unequal white spaces between these elements. So it's something we should also fix, but we'll fix that as we go on. So that's all for white space. White space just has to do with the spacing between elements of a design. So we move on to the next alignment. So alignment basically is the placement of visual elements so they line up in a composition. So that's all about alignment. So if you look at this design now, as you can see, this, okay, let me introduce my ruler. To introduce your ruler in Figma, you use Shift R. It brings out our ruler. So if I draw out a line here to this beginning of our logo, Groot.co, and I draw out another line here to the beginning of the button, draw out another line here to the header, draw out another line here. So as you can see, visually we have four different columns here, which is actually very bad alignment, having four different columns all in one design as such. So this is something you don't want to do. You want to make sure that to a very great extent things are aligned properly. And well, it's a very good design practice using grids. So I think I'll use grids to fix that. Let me clear my ruler lines. So let me just set up a grid real quick. If I select a frame, I click on the plus icon in layout grid. It adds some grids, but it's not what we need. So I choose columns. A rule of thumb for grids: 12 for web, 8 for tablet, and then 4 for mobile. So in my count, my count will be 12. Let me set a margin of 130. You want to always ensure that you have margins when designing. It tends to make things look more cleaner and more organized, and you don't always want to get your margins so close to the boundary of the frame. So that's one thing you just have to note. So I set my margin to 130 rather. So what I'll do now is I'll try to align things so I can move this in. Let me drag it. So as you can see, and that's one thing about these design softwares, they have these helper lines to actually help us make sure that things are aligned. And sometimes I wonder why these lines are actually there, and I see a lot of designs with alignment issues. So sometimes I wonder, are they disabled? Because do they disable the lines on their design softwares? I'm just curious. So like I said, once it reaches the end of the grid I set, it gives me that red line to tell me it's aligned properly. So I can move this in a bit, and so I don't really want to align it to this grid. I want it to be on this other grid. So yeah, so and I'll align these two with this. Okay, yeah, and I can align our button with this. So as you can see, it's looking much better just with alignment. And yeah, since I've moved things a little bit in, I can move wonderful planty superhero a little bit to the right. And also the alignment issues don't just happen within here. We also have alignment issues over here and even in the button. So all these little things actually matter. So I will align this to the center of the button. Okay, now as you can see, our helper lines, so indicating that it's aligned vertically centered and horizontally centered. So let me work on the menu. So as you can see, our helper lines also have appeared to help our lives. So we have this. So yeah, things are well aligned now. So although now let's fix the white space issues here. Let me select all of this and then to drag it in to make sure that it fits well with our grid. I think we've lost alignment with this, but we'll fix that in a bit. So it's on the grid now. So what I can do is this, I can take this out a bit. You know, Figma has these tools to actually help us make our designs faster and all that. So let's say I want it to start here and I want it to end here. So what I can do is just select each of these and go over to this tab over here and say distribute horizontal spacing. So yes, we have equal white space. Hooray! 76, 76, 76. So you know, all these things makes your design workflow to be faster. And let me see something here. This is 30 pixels and this is 30 pixels. Well, I don't really want them to be the same size, so what I'll do is I'll scale the logo up a bit. And I know, okay, for those that use XD, I know most times when we come here, we have these drag handles for increasing the number of stuff over here. But well, Figma, you either have to type or use your arrow. But if you want to use the drag handles, uh, when you come over here, you hold Alt, and then you have your drag handle, and you can just scale up a bit. I just hit to 35 since it's the logo. Then one thing about alignment again is this: alignment most times happens in different ways. You may have elements that some may be bigger than others and you need to align them in a straight line, so you want to ensure that it's center aligned. So there are times you use center aligned, there are some elements you make sure they are bottom aligned, there are some elements you make sure they are top aligned, depending on what you aim to achieve with your design. So as you can see, this is 35, this is 30. So wisdom is supposed to tell me that I will align these center aligned. So what I will do now, as I've selected each and every one of them this way, I have this tool here, align vertical centers. So when I do this, it aligns everything for me. So let me just know how many pixels we have to the top, and let me make it 60 pixels from the top. You always want to make sure white space, very important. Don't just move things up to the top this way. Nah, that's not good. So you make sure there's some amount of space to the top, to the right, to the left, in between. So all these things matters a lot. So let's move. The next is color. Yeah, so this entails the practice of combining colors for the purpose of function and aesthetics. You know, a lot of designers actually have issues when it comes to color. I happen to be one of them, but well, the thing, we have a lot of tools actually to help us when it comes to color and all that. So to fix color issues here, I like white. So um, starting off, I don't want to use a purple background. I prefer to use white. And you know, a ruler, let me clear our rulers. Shift R to clear the ruler, Shift R to introduce the ruler, Shift R to clear. So a rule of thumb in design, you don't use pure black. Yeah, they say it doesn't feel natural, so avoid using pure black. So I can hide our grids for now using this eye icon. Forgotten the shortcut actually. So aside from even just the background color that we removed, as you can see, we still have a lot of colors here. We have blue, we have some sort of yellow, we have some sort of red. So a good rule of thumb also is try as much as possible to stick with two colors in a design, at most three. So avoid too many colors jumping up and there. Another thing you want to also notice using complementary colors and all that. So yeah, as a designer you really have to study color theory. So this will actually help you improve picking when it comes to your choice of colors. Well, for now, let me just make this black for now, so as to reduce the amount of colors. But one thing about these design principles is there's actually no hierarchy to it. The arrangement I made is just how I feel I should present it, but they are all intertwined. So it's just parts making a whole. So most of the times, so I might leave some. Why I'm saying this is this: I will leave some colors here because so as to use it to explain another design principle. So I will not be changing this yellow for now. That's why I said they are all intertwined. And this red, since I don't know what I'll be using for the color of this button, obviously this button, this gray color looks off. So since I don't know what I'll be using for the color of the button, I can't determine the color of the text. So, but let's move to the next item. Contrast. All right, now contrast occurs when you can visually distinguish two colors, predominantly a text against a background. All right, so as you can see, if you look closely at our design, you'll notice that you cannot easily see this supposed header text that says I am Groot. So there's a standard for this called Web Contrast Accessibility Guideline, WCAG, and I think they have there's 2.0 and there's 2.1. So they actually plugins that actually help us do this on Figma. I have one, and there are also websites that tend to offer these services. Okay, let me just show you some. Let me copy the color code of this yellow. So if I head over to my browser, I opened one. Okay, this is webape.org. So you can use this to check if your contrast passes. So not everybody has the privilege of actually seeing colors the way they are. Some people are colorblind, so you will want to ensure that you have maximum contrast so that even people that are colorblind will be able to read text. And yet, so overall, it improves the accessibility and usability of your sites. And okay, so these are WCAG standards, the web contrast accessibility guidelines. I don't know why it tends to skip my memory. So yeah, for the 2.0 level, it says level AA, that's 2.0, requires contrast ratio of 4.5.1 for normal text and 3.1 for large text, and then the 2.1 version requires a ratio of 3.1 for graphics and user interface components, requires at least 7.1 for normal text and 4.51 for large text. So you can check out the site webape.org if you want to understand, if you want to read these explanations. Although they have a very handy tool to tell you if your color passes or not. So so our background was white FFF, so this is good. So I will paste the color code of our yellow, and as you can see, it failed. Like the guy totally failed. That's bad. So as you can see, it failed contrast. So we have to fix this. So okay, maybe what I'll do is this. Like I said, you want to avoid too much colors. So what I'll do is I will pick a color from Groot hero for the day. So I'll pick a color using my color picker. Alright, so I have a shade of brown over there. So what I'll do, let me check if this shade of brown. Okay, I've shown you guys the contrast check on the web. Let's use this. Let's use that this time. Let's use that. Okay, so let me paste the color code and click out. Hooray, we passed. Yeah. So that's it. We all passed. Pass. So yeah, we are good to go. Nobody's going to see us accessibility. So yeah, so we can work with this. So there's a plugin I have on Figma for color checking. If I go to my plugins, A11Y color contrast checker. So it's loading. Alright, so all you have to do, yeah, like the instruction says, you select a frame. So I've selected my frame. I'll do check. Alright, as you can see, if I tap here, it's going to select the text or the element with the issue. So we still have contrast issue in our button, but well, I'll leave that for now because I've not decided. Well, why not? Okay, so what we'll do now, we'll change the color of the button actually, so we can get some contrast. So what color do I use for the button now? We already have white. I mean, we already have black, we have brown. Well, this, if you actually look at it, there's not so much difference between the brown color and the black color. But well, let's stick with the three colors. Not bad. Like I say, at most three. So what I'll do is, okay, I have a tool that actually helps me check complementary colors. So let's head over to the browser. And where did I open my tool? Well, I think it's not open. So let me just do a Google search. Yeah, Canva color wheel. So simply they've written the algorithm of the color wheel and they've coded it into this site. So it's just working based on color theory. So if I paste this, so this is the color code for the complementary color of brown. And for those that know color theory, if you need monochromatic style, we have the analogous, three different complementary shades. We have triadic, we have tetradic. So depending on your need, but let me just go with complementary. I'll just select to copy, and I'll head back to Figma. I will give my button that color. Woo! Jesus. Well, let me make the text white. Okay. So we have this now. I don't think I like the blue so much. Well, let's go ahead. So if we check now with the plugin, I'm sure we lack contrast issues. Check. We're good to go. All right. So let's see what's next. Typography. All right. So this is the art of arranging. This is the art and technique of arranging type to make written language legible, readable, and appealing when displayed. Okay. So well, basically we don't have typography issues here. Oh, wow, forgot to implement that. But so a rule of thumb, you want to stick with two families, or let's just say two typefaces. So that's one thing you have to note when doing design. Avoid using too many fonts. Too many fonts can be detrimental. So let me just scatter this a little bit. What do I use now? What do I use? Let's say Senzel. Like this is sort of a luxury font. I have one handwriting here, Southampton. This is Montserrat. As you can see, things are getting scattered right now. Then let me, what font do I use for this now? What font do I use for this? Let's say Garamond. So now you don't want to do this. This is one thing you should never do. Mix fonts this way. So at most you want to stick to two fonts. You can go extra mile, try using three, but at best stick to two fonts. That's a good rule of typography. So this is a serif font. If I should zoom in here, as you can see, it has this little sticky stuff. They are called serifs. So these are serif fonts. And then, so this was Garamond self, and I didn't even know. I thought this was Montserrat. So let me change this to Montserrat. Montserrat's actually my favorite font. Very simple, good looking bad guy. Let me extend this a little bit so as not to infringe on the rights of our button. So yeah, so this is a sans serif. As you can see, it doesn't have this little extensions that we have all around the serif font. So this is sans serif. So there are a lot of things that actually make typography good. So it's not just having good set of fonts. So there are a lot of things you can do to improve your typography. You look at your font choice, otherwise called the typeface. Then you look at the size. Size matters also. You look at alignment. So like I said, this is just all about parts becoming whole. So you also have other UI and design fundamentals that can be implemented in the font to make your design look very crisp. So we have leading the leading of the fonts that has to do with the line height, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, the line height. Then we have the letter spacing. I think that's called tracking. Yeah, that's called tracking. So your letter spacing, tracking, your line height, leading. So those are all these little things that you have to make sure. So what I'll do now is this. Let me increase the leading and the tracking. Personally, I don't tend to use the default leading and tracking most times when designing. I like to space things out. I'm a very white spaced person. We have this line height tab here, so we can easily use this to increase our leading. So when I draw this, you can see text is getting spaced out a bit. It's getting more readable and legible. So then we have a letter spacing over here, and I just can make this. Let me say 2. Let's use 2. 2. All right. So it's spaced out in a bit. So now we have hard copy. Groot was a humanoid plant, Flora colossus, and we have a so-called header, very shameful header. Don't worry, we'll fix that as we go forward. So yeah, basically the site is beginning to take shape. It's beginning to take shape. So let's see what's our next. All right, we have scale. The scale is the size of one object in relation to the other objects in design. So basically it talks about size of things. So one thing I can do now for scale is actually to scale Groot. A superhero cannot be this small. So if I hold down shift and I drag up, the essence of holding shift is so that it scales it up both on the left and on the right. So Groot is growing. It's growing. So let's see. Yes. So scale him down a bit. Just want that bit. Alright, so Groot is looking good now. Good. I can still shift him up to the bits to the right a little. Very happy looking superhero. So yeah. So that's basically scale is size. So you have to be really meticulous when it comes to scale. So you just have to be, and especially as it comes to mobile. So since we'll be using our hands to touch and mobile is small, scale really plays a very great role when it comes to mobile. And let's look at the last design principle. UI design fundamental, not design principle, Felix. Visual hierarchy. Okay, visual hierarchy refers to the arrangement or presentation of elements in a way that implies importance. Alright, now scale plays a very great role in visual hierarchy. So let me set up visual hierarchy here. So what I'll do is I'll decrease the size of this text. Now this is your hard copy, so it's actually a secondary text. So what I'll do is hold Alt, drag down a bit. 28, let's say 26. So now as you can see, it has created a lot of white space. Let me just move down a bit. And I am Groot. Let me scale this up. Say probably 100. This is the header. Yeah, it's kind of maybe not 100. So yeah, 120 is looking good. Okay. Now, as I can see, what I'm seeing now is there's not so much balance here. And there's too much white space here. Yeah, so what I'll do is this. I'll introduce my grid a bit. Yeah, so I'll select everything here and I'll move it a bit to this side. Did I move Groot? I hope not. I hope not. So what I want to do is align it here to this part of. Maybe let me not align it directly to the grid. No rules are meant to be broken. Let's see. 5. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Okay, I think it's looking more balanced now, more visually balanced than before. You can still shift Groot. That's 10 pixel space. Alright, so to also emphasize visual hierarchy, I'll make this bold. Yes. So let me take this up a little bit. I think the white space here is too much. Let's say 30. It's 30 looking good. 30 still looks too much. 24. Okay. Okay. You know, there's this design principle that has to do with proximity. You know, so it's taking this closer to this actually shows that there's a relationship between these both, so between these two things, and then having this a little bit shows that although this still has a relationship to this, but it's not entirely closely related to this. So as you can see, there's established visual hierarchy now when you get in here. Let me take this down a bit. So when you open this site, I believe your eye will be caught first by I am Groot, because it has the greatest visual hierarchy. Then from there you can then see this, and like I said, so now if you can even see, we establish visual hierarchy. Now it's not just established here with just I am Groot, the size of I am Groot rather. We also have color, so you can use color to also establish visual hierarchy. And also, as you can see, well, I don't this blue does not pop so well for me, because it's a call to action. It's supposed to call you, it's not calling me. Let me see, let me use a red. Use a red. Okay. Now it's calling me. Red is it's an attention drawing color. Oh yeah, I didn't even talk of psychology, color psychology. It's something you should read up on. Wow. Something you should read up on, color psychology. So let me run my contrast check to be sure that we are good to go. I think I just had network issues. So wow, we're still good to go. So yeah, basically we've been able, I think there's no visual hierarchy between these two. They look exactly the same, so I can bold this. The bold not too much. Maybe semi-bold. Yeah, at least. Yes. So you want to make sure there's visual hierarchy in your elements when it comes to design. So another thing you can do, I could easily draw down the intensity of the black here to also emphasize the header more. So we've moved from what we had before to this, which looks so much better. Oh well, if you discover I didn't duplicate what we had before I started, I just worked on the main system. But let me, well, let's see what we have it. Oh god, I don't need these Slack messages now. Well, Figma has version control, so I think I'm still safe. So this should be about 12 p.m. Okay, yeah, so this was our initial design. So what I'll do is I will say duplicate. So it's going to duplicate. No, sorry, I made a mistake. So duplicate and then open. Okay, yeah, so I'll just wait for it to load and open. Alright, it's open now. So what I'll do is I will just copy initial version and do its current version over here and paste our initial version. So yes, we have the old version. Put it on there. Make sure they're aligned. Alignment is key, brethren. So yeah, so we've actually moved from this to this, which looks so much more better. Just like a normal website should be. Let me just work on the navigation a little very quickly. So shortcut L for line. So since we're on the home page, as you can see, my helper lines to show me that the line is. So I can just put in a little line over there just to indicate that yeah, this is the home page, and what I can do, visual hierarchy. So this is the focus should be on this for the nav. So I can draw down the contrast of this ones a bit. I don't know why I'm using pure black. Said avoid pure black. It's even one of our internship guidelines. So guideline rules. So yeah, turn down the. So let me think the visual. I drew it down too much. I want you to be able to distinguish it and also not make it look so different from one another. Alright, so yeah, we have a very lovely site here. So our background is very plain, so I could just introduce some very little design aesthetics. There's this stuff I was seeing some designs. So I can create this little dot grid. So I have a plugin for that here, dot grid. So let me just do a quick. No, I have to be out of the frame. Plugins dot grid. This is just aesthetics though, to add some little flavor. So I'll make this 850. Let's make this 200. Yeah, let's make the size 5. Yeah, let's just leave the color for now. Click generate, and the plugin generates our dots. Okay, use shift plus or minus to zoom in, zoom out. Shift plus or minus. So let me drag this out of the frame. Let me drag it. It's refusing to go in. You have to release it, then draw it in. It's in the frame right now. Okay, I don't want it to be, so I can place it here. Well, I don't even know what I'm doing, just little aesthetics. So I'll send this to the back. You can use control and your square bracket keys. I think let me just use this, send to back. Yeah, so it sends it to the back. And visual hierarchy, this is just an aesthetics. Don't want it to stand out, show selection colors. So let me just make it white first and then give it some little presence. I actually hope you guys can see that. I don't want it to stand out too much. I don't want it to be too faint. So yeah. So basically we have our site good to go. So these are just the foundations of good UI design. So let's just go through it one more time and then we're done. So to restart. So white space, alignment, color, contrast, typography, scale, visual hierarchy. Alright, thank you so much for joining us. You should do well to actually talk more on these UI design fundamentals, as it will scale your designs.